So Trump supporters are leaving Trump behind. They're finally figuring out what is going on with them. So this is a couple of people. So listen to what they have to say.
Of his posts go viral. Posts like this: my wife and I are voting Democrat this year for the first time. We've been making jokes about it around the house. I was wearing a solid red shirt on our walk last night, and she said I looked like a fascist. The dishes were piled up in the sink, and I said, now that you're a feminist, does that mean you won't be touching these? He goes on to say, this is an intervention. If you think these are all lies, you might be in a cult. Turn off Fox News, stop listening to propagandists who are paid by our foreign adversaries, and seek new resources of information. Inflation is under 3%. Violent crime is at a 50-year low. The Dow has hit an all-time high. By the way, Donald Trump's stock is crashing. Unemployment is low. Jobs are plentiful. Gas prices are low. We aren't deployed in any wars. Domestic manufacturing is strong. Energy production is at an all-time high. All facts. And contrast that to this post that JP made, and he shows what these MAGAs actually look like at these events. And this is the types of things that they say. This is what the Republican Party has become. This is why there's a mass exodus away from this MAGA nonsense. We have to terminate the Constitution to defend it. It's not his fault. He was fooled. Donald Trump's the only honest one. J6 had nothing to do with it. He's a victim, the biggest victim. He sacrificed it all for us. America's a third world hellhole. He is our last chance to save it, JP says. I've never voted Democrat, but Donald Trump called to terminate the United States Constitution and tried to overturn the election like some third world dictator. He betrayed our country, and no one will guilt shame or bully me into being quiet about it. Republicans for Harris. And meanwhile,
now a lot of that information's been around for a while, and I've been talking about this stuff for the last 3 years, ever since Trump got in the first time around and decimated our budget and our debt by trillions of dollars. But nobody believes it because they don't want to. But now it's becoming more and more obvious to the Trump supporters, the past Trump supporters, that are beginning to realize that. And I take my hat off to them, because it doesn't matter how long it takes to be aware of lies. If you come to the realization that, wow, it's lies, that is a good thing. So I'm very happy for them, as well as the 700 military leaders that decided to support Kamala Harris for the very same reason. It's amazing. You should never take anybody's word for anything. Do your own research. Look at what the tax rate did. Look at how it benefited the rich. Look at how all the things it's done has taken women's rights back 50 years or more, as well as the gay, lesbian, transgender population and every other population that he tries to take rights from, including the MAGA crowd, which is the biggest crowd that is getting screwed by his political aspirations and law changes. He's taking the rights not out of the rich, not out of the large corporations, but out of the poor people and the middle class. When he gave the last great tax cut, people that were in the normal middle class or lower got $2,000-$3,000 tax cut that was temporary. Large corporations and rich people got permanent tax cuts that were in the hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions. And when the poor people all of a sudden realized 3 years later that they had a huge tax bill, they were surprised. But if they would have read up on it at the very beginning, they would have realized that that's what he was doing. He's funding the rich and the large corporations and himself at the expense of everybody else. And he doesn't care what he has to say to make that happen. Anyway, that's only my opinion. But, and this guy's obviously, and the 700 military leaders, and a lot of the ex or current Republican politicians that are voting for Kamala Harris instead of Trump.